Welcome back everyone to another video of AI discussions. We are continuing part 3 of the entire Godzilla franchise. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Like and subscribe for fun. Let's get started. So we left off on Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is part of the MonsterVerse and the sequel to Godzilla 2014 and the next installment after Kong Skull Island. So, 5 years after Godzilla fought the Mutos, the research team known as Monarch have been studying these monsters around the world, including Godzilla. There's this device called the Orca, which is used to communicate with these monsters. An eco-terrorist wants to use the device to unleash these monsters on world cities to bring life back to the planet, but in doing so, killing innocent people in the process. A woman who is our main character's ex-wife works with the eco-terrorist because of the loss of her son. They head to Antarctica and unleash King Ghidorah, who has been trapped there for generations, and pisses off Godzilla. Our main characters head to Antarctica and get attacked by King Ghidorah. Godzilla emerges out the ice and a hateful confrontation between these two giants clash. Godzilla tries to use his atomic breath on him but misses, and King Ghidorah pins Godzilla down. King Ghidorah then retreats because he didn't want the smoke no more with Godzilla. Later, our main characters find out why the woman wanted to unleash these monsters and why she was working with an eco-terrorist. Despite them trying to plead her, she unleashes Rodan in Mexico and begins attacking a village. This was a cool-ass scene between the Air Force and Rodan. Really fun and impressive sequence. Our main characters lead Rodan straight to King Ghidorah and the both of them clash. King Ghidorah knocks out Rodan and heads towards our main characters. Lucky for them, Godzilla unknowingly saves their lives by attacking King Ghidorah in the ocean. Godzilla and King Ghidorah have an underwater battle, and Godzilla bites one of King Ghidorah's heads off. The military launches a device called an oxygen destroyer missile. This was a reference to the oxygen destroyer from the Godzilla 1954 movie. They launch the missile at both Godzilla and King Ghidorah, hoping it'll kill them both. Unfortunately, King Ghidorah survived the attack, and heads towards a mountain and regenerates his head. Godzilla, however, was nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, all of the monsters around the world get unleashed and start attacking cities around the world. They figured out that King Ghidorah was the one who called out and unleashed them all. Lucky for them, Mothra metamorphosed from her larva state to her adult form and heads towards Godzilla's location. With the help of Mothra, they found out Godzilla was still alive and that he swam deep in an underwater cavern that their radar couldn't detect. Our main characters plan to use a nuclear warhead to help revive Godzilla. Dr. Serizawa, who has been studying Godzilla, decides to do it himself, has a little emotional moment with Godzilla before the nuke detonates. The nuke explodes, pushing the submarine that they're in to the surface. Godzilla gets revived, looking like a true god, and heads to King Ghidorah. The military backs up Godzilla against King Ghidorah for a long final fight. Mothra backs up Godzilla against King Ghidorah, while King Ghidorah calls out Rodan for assistance. Godzilla fights King Ghidorah while Rodan fights Mothra. Mothra was able to stab Rodan even though she was badly injured. Godzilla, though, kept getting bodied by King Ghidorah, even dropping him 1,000 plus feet up in the air. King Ghidorah then kills Mothra, sacrificing her power for Godzilla. The woman who was with the eco-terrorist then tries to redeem herself by distracting King Ghidorah using the Orca so Godzilla can get back up on his feet. King Ghidorah then kills her, and Godzilla, now turning a hot red pouring with radiation, unleashes a powerful thermonuclear pulse and disintegrates King Ghidorah. After Godzilla kills King Ghidorah, all of the monsters start heading towards Godzilla and bow to him, including Rodan, showing them who the true king of the monsters is. I know this movie has some mixed reviews by the critics, but I don't give a fuck. I thought this movie was epic as fuck. Loved the visuals, the epic fights, it was well paced, and yeah, I was satisfied by the fan service. However, I do agree that some of the human characters and the writing is a bit sloppy. Wasn't really a fan of Millie Bobby Brown's character. She didn't really do much except scream, and I thought some of them did make some dumb decisions. Aside from that, I genuinely enjoyed this movie. Now next we have is Godzilla vs. Kong, which is the next movie in the MonsterVerse. So in this one, the research team Monarch have contained Kong on Skull Island to studying him. Meanwhile, Godzilla emerges out of the ocean and attacks Florida because something is agitating him. Our main character went to go investigate what's making Godzilla aggressive against humanity. Monarch then decides to relocate Kong, because they figured Godzilla will also see him as a threat since they're both alphas. They transport Kong on an aircraft carrier, but Godzilla soon found them and attacks Kong. They unleash Kong from the restraints and Godzilla hops onto the aircraft carrier. Kong punches the shit out of Godzilla, but after Godzilla bitch slaps Kong, Kong pushed Godzilla back in the water and Godzilla unleashes atomic breath. Kong dodges the attack, but unfortunately Godzilla drags Kong to the bottom of the sea, almost drowning him. Luckily, they were able to use depth charges and Kong relieved back on the aircraft carrier. Godzilla, looking hella pissed off, swims away. Monarch heads to Antarctica where they found a portal that leads to another world called Hollow Earth along with Kong. While they explore Hollow Earth, Godzilla heads to Hong Kong and drills his atomic breath straight down to Hollow Earth. Kong finds an axe that seems to have one of Godzilla's dorsal plates on it and heads up to the surface. Kong confronts Godzilla and the both of them start boxing. Godzilla spams his atomic breath while Kong dodges the attack. Kong hits Godzilla in the head with the axe and the both of them fall back. They then get back up and the fight resumes. Kong tries to lunge at Godzilla but throws him off his back, slaps the shit out of him with his tail, scratches his chest, then stomps on his chest twice. Godzilla roars to submit, but Kong doesn't back down and roars back. Unfortunately though, Kong lost and becomes unconscious. Meanwhile, our main characters figure out why Godzilla is being so aggressive. A company called Apex Cybernetics was using a device to piss Godzilla off, so they could have an excuse to use Mechagodzilla. They used one of the skulls of one of King Ghidorah's heads to psychically link with Mechagodzilla. Unfortunately, Mechagodzilla gains a mind of its own and kills the inventor. Mechagodzilla then breaks out of the mountain and starts attacking Hong Kong. Godzilla, looking tired as fuck, said, "Fuck it, I still gotta do what I need to do," and confronts Mechagodzilla. Unfortunately, Mechagodzilla Molly whopped the shit out of Godzilla. This is probably the most I ever felt bad for Godzilla. Mechagodzilla was literally mopping the floor with Godzilla. Luckily, Monarch was able to revive Kong and Kong teams up with Godzilla. Godzilla and Kong tag team against Mechagodzilla. With the help of Godzilla's atomic breath, Kong was able to charge the axe and pull Mechagodzilla's head off. Godzilla and Kong then gave a mutual respect, and the both of them go their separate ways. So this movie was just pure fun, even though there were some human issues, you know? As much as I did enjoy all that monster action, the human aspect was honestly kind of a drag. They were boring, tried way too hard to be funny, and none of them were that interesting. Well, maybe except for the little girl who can speak sign language to Kong. She's actually one of the more interesting human characters. Other than that, everyone else was just meh, but I still had fun with the movie regardless. Now, this is the best Godzilla movie ever made, hands down. It even won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects, and is the most well-received movie from both critics and fans. Godzilla Minus One is just like, freaking amazing. So, it starts out with this kamikaze pilot who lands on an island because he didn't want to continue his duty, along with some other guys on the island. They then find themselves confronted by a Godzillasaurus, and it starts attacking them. After escaping the island, he returns to a devastated Japan and stumbles into this family dynamic. He finds this woman and a child, and they instantly bond. By the way, the woman and the child aren't related to each other, but they still took care of each other as if they were family. Meanwhile, atomic testing begins in Bikini Atoll and irradiates the Godzillasaurus. Later, our main character, along with a crew, gets sent to investigate a destroyed ship. All of a sudden, Godzilla just emerges out of the ocean, bites the ship, and starts following them. This is probably the scariest Godzilla's ever been, honestly. After dropping 2 mines on Godzilla, Godzilla then regenerates and looks at them in this terrifying way. Luckily, a destroyer ship starts shooting Godzilla, saving our main characters. Godzilla then starts attacking the destroyer. They shoot Godzilla, knocking him off their ship, but unfortunately, Godzilla annihilates them with his atomic breath. Later, our main characters try to warn everybody about Godzilla, but it was just too late. Godzilla was already making his way to Japan. Godzilla enters Giza and starts destroying the city. He bites a train where our main woman character is at. She survives and Godzilla keeps attacking the city. The military tries to use tanks on Godzilla, but it's totally ineffective. Godzilla then unleashes one of the most powerful and devastating atomic breaths, almost looking like an atomic bomb. The shockwave kills everyone except our main character, because the woman pushes him in an alley, saving him. He screams at Godzilla in agony. With only a small fleet, they then try to figure out a way to stop Godzilla. Godzilla heads to an island where our main characters try to lure Godzilla back to the ocean. Godzilla unleashes his atomic breath on a decoy ship, and they begin their strategic plan. After a suspenseful struggle, surprisingly, their plan actually worked. They actually managed to defeat Godzilla by taking advantage of his own weight and the pressure of the ocean. The ending is probably one of the most emotional moments in Godzilla history, but not for Godzilla, more for the human characters. Unfortunately though, that ain't the end of Godzilla, 'cause a piece of him starts regenerating. This movie was amazing, honestly. It had everything you could want from a giant monster movie, let alone a Godzilla movie. It had incredibly well-written human characters, surprisingly really good visual effects with only a $10 to $15 million budget, and of course, the reason we all watch these movies, the awesome Godzilla scenes. So yeah, epic Godzilla movie. I'd recommend it to anyone, whether you're a Godzilla fan or not. Now this is the latest Godzilla movie, Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, which is also the next film in the MonsterVerse, and honestly this movie was just dumb fun. So basically, while Kong tries to look for a family in Hollow Earth, Godzilla defends the surface world from other monstrous threats. This movie's pretty simple to follow. Kong finds a smaller ape who attacked him at first. Then some giant serpent attacks them, but Kong defeats it. On the surface world, Godzilla starts charging up for something by attacking a nuclear facility in France and killing Tiamat, absorbing her energy. Back at Hollow Earth, Zuko leads Kong towards a cavern where he finds other giant apes. One of the giant apes, known as Scar King, was controlling another monster called Shimu. They all start attacking Kong, but he luckily manages to escape. Kong heads up to the surface world to get Godzilla's help, but before they could reunite, Godzilla has to give him the smoke for being on his turf. Godzilla attacks Kong in Egypt, even doing a damn suplex. Kong tries to knock some sense into Godzilla, but Godzilla's stubborn ass uses his atomic breath, destroying the pyramids. Right when Godzilla was about to blast Kong again, Mothra emerges, now resurrected, and was able to calm Godzilla down. Everyone heads back down to Hollow Earth and begins fighting each other. Godzilla and Kong versus Shimu and Scar King with the help of Zuko and Mothra. When the gravity becomes unstable, they start falling back to the surface world and end up in Brazil. Scar King tries to use Shimu to turn the world into an ice age, but Kong knocks the shit out of him and Godzilla blasts Shimu. Godzilla and Kong resume their fight against Scar King and Shimu. Godzilla was able to break the chain that the shard used to control Shimu off, and Zuko was able to destroy the shard with the axe. Kong punches the shit out of Scar King, throws him to Godzilla, tail whips him, and finally, Shimu freezes his ass, allowing Kong to smash him to the ground, and Godzilla was able to turn the sky back to normal. This movie was just dumb fun. Like Godzilla vs. Kong, it had fun fight scenes, but the human scenes are a bore. However, I still appreciate Warner Brothers and Legendary for still making fun Godzilla movies. As for the future for Godzilla, I know we're getting another MonsterVerse Godzilla, a sequel to Godzilla -1, and I heard possibly a sequel to Shin Godzilla. I'm excited for all of these, but the main one I'm looking forward to is the Godzilla -1 sequel. Really curious what that's gonna be and if it'll live up or exceed its predecessor. So yeah, this was a fun talk about every single Godzilla movie, up until this point. Hope it gave all of you some knowledge of Godzilla, and if you want to get into it, if there's any other topic you want me to talk about, comment down below, like and subscribe for fun. Yeah, I know I'm using AI, it's all for fun, my N-words.